Today to keep warm.
Where's Mrs. Gassman?
Behind that.
You gonna stand there?
Okay.
All right, don't face that. Yes, it is. Stay right here and watch.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to thank all of you for coming. And I want to be the first to thank you for your support that made all of this possible. Because of your support, the children of this district are going to benefit greatly. In just a little over 6 months, when we're standing here, we won't be shivering. And that's for two reasons. One, it's going to be August. And the second, the most important one, is we're going to be inside Pleasant View School when you're standing right here. All of this is for students, student achievement. And if you'll indulge me, I want to just talk a little bit about something that happened for some students here at Pleasant View today. We took a 5th grade and a 6th grade team to the Prairie Math Meet. Prairie School is a private school in Racine. The math meet's a high-powered math contest for students grades 5 through 9. A lot of the private schools go there, like at Prairie School, University School, Latin School in Milwaukee. We took a 6th grade team and a 5th grade team. I'd like to call up the 5th grade students that went this morning. Mike, Amber. The 3 5th grade students that went were Mike Gock, Jason Manti, and Amber Gill. There were 41 5th grade teams there. Our team came in 2nd. Latin School from Chicago beat them by 1 point.
Next time.
There were 3 students on each team. So there were 41 teams. That means there were 123 students there. Jason Manti came in 2nd out of those 123 students. We're real proud of those students, and we're real proud of their teachers. And we're only going to get it better. I'd like to introduce a few people, the members of the board that are here this afternoon. Mr. Serwa, Mr. Hanrahan, hiding in the Jane, Sarah couldn't be here. Let's see, Mr. Perry, hiding in the back. Mrs. Lewandowski, and who'd I miss? Mr. Szlazinski. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Sue Hune. Sue was very active in generating support for the referendum. And on behalf of the students at Pleasant View and the other schools that are benefit of this, I want to thank you, Mrs. Hune.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of the Franklin School District and the Board of Education. In October, parent group leaders were brought together and given two very difficult tasks. The first task was to set up a network of volunteers that could get out information about the referendum. And the second and probably more difficult task for them to do was to get all of the parents out to the polls. The parent group leaders worked very closely with our secretary, Janet. They created brochures together, set up phone trees, and recruited volunteers. Many parents, staff, and community members braved the snow on two separate nights. One night they came out and they stuffed envelopes and mailed postcards, made buttons, and it was an awful, awful night. Some even braved the snow on election night to come and watch results with us. And we all know what that night was like because the next morning a lot of schools, not ours, got canceled. Another group who I feel I must recognize today is Mr. Wilcom and his ACE class. They put together the referendum video. They spent hundreds of hours, and even though their editing equipment failed and they used different equipment, they still got it done on time on the date that we needed it. It's because of the dedication of you, the volunteers, that our referendum was successful. We had an unprecedented 68% yes vote. We had a better turnout than the gubernatorial election the month before. And 75% of the parents got out to vote compared to 15% for the previous two referendums. So you did your job and you did it well. Today, this groundbreaking is really a celebration of your hard work. This day would not have been possible without all of you. On behalf of the Franklin School District, the Board of Education, but especially on behalf of the children of the Franklin School District, I'd just like to say thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hill. Next, I'd like to introduce our district administrator, Gerald Freitag. Mr. Freitag also, of course, was very active in this project. For instance, he visited every classroom, grades 5 through 12, to help our students understand the importance of what we were trying to do. Mr. Freitag.
I'd like to begin by thanking the three architects because they braved the cold, and all three of them are here today. I also would like to recognize Al Block, who's here today and was involved in the administration of this district. Franklin has a long tradition of supporting education. As you drive around our community, you can see it's changing and it's growing. I look upon this and this accomplishment and what you have done as the coming together of our community for our children. There's a lot of us who've come from different places, and we've decided to settle and live here in Franklin. I think what we did the last couple months is a beginning to put a firm foundation under what our children need in the future. I think it will do a great deal. The work has just begun. It's just the beginning. Once the buildings are here, then it'll be our job to continue the long, excellent tradition of the Franklin School District. I thank each and every one of you for turning out on a day like today. I thank our two legislators who are here and helping us, and I thank all the volunteers because this really is your project, not ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freitag. Next, we'd like to ask Mrs. Sue Gassman, as a representative of all of the parents and all of the people who helped generate support for this project. Mrs. Gassman.
I'm just going to take a minute. I'd like to thank everyone for their help with this project. This has been a long haul, and there were times when all the volunteers felt disheartened and felt that we would never see light at the end of the tunnel. But we all kept going and we kept working, and it's volunteers that make this district as great as it is and help embellish the educational process and help our students get a great education. And I'm just glad that now we can turn our sights to other things that will help improve education in our district. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Gassman. Thank you very much. And now, before we take a little ground, a couple of announcements. You're all invited back to the dedication in about 6.5 months. Also, the volunteers, when you go inside, please report to Mrs. Hune. Okay, now we're going to have the ceremonial groundbreaking. We have 3 students who represent the students, and the students are Reed Meyer, Vanessa Weber, and Katie Will. For the parents, we have Mrs. Gassman. For the board, we have Mrs. Hune. And for the community, we have Senator Edelman and Representative Ruskowski. Take your shovels. Over here. Okay, all the diggers ready?
Ready.
Go ahead. Good luck.
Would you do the honor on Robin Woods?
Sue, 20 more feet down.
Yeah, that takes the load. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, this saves money.
This saves money. Okay.
Now we need to have a Robin Wood. There you go, dump it out.
I think I had Robin Hood.
Yes. All right. Somebody bring him
Yeah, Robin Hood dirt. Jeez. They got good dirt over there. Robin Hood. Pee-wee and Robin Hood get together.
Okay, thank you very much. All 3 boys and gentlemen have some refreshments and some dirt cake.
Over, they get pulled.
You kind of want to walk from in front of the school and then come over here so they can see what it looks like.